Hello, I'm Sylvia Jeffries. Welcome to A Current Affair. It's great to be with you. We can all agree 2020 is a year we're happy to leave behind as we look forward to a much brighter 2021. Tonight, we try to forecast what the new year might bring, starting with the property market.
Behind this apartment door, a couple is engaged in one of the most natural acts known to humankind.
Ah, that's what
They're almost done.
You move up a little bit.
They won't mind you prying. Come in. Take a look.
This 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom looks brilliant, and 2-car parking. Incredible.
Ah, yes. They're searching real estate. An addictive pastime for hundreds of thousands of Aussies. How much time have you spent Googling real estate?
Oh, a lot of time.
Undeterred by these unprecedented times, Brodie and Nat are gearing up to leap into the property market in 2021. Are you worried at all about 2021, that it might not be the best time to buy?
Not really, because property is always a long-term investment, and over the long term it's pretty much guaranteed to go up.
There's a vaccine for the pandemic coming out and everything, so I think people are going to take this opportunity to buy. So I reckon this is the right time to, look at entering into the market if you can. Something close to the water.
The couple
Inland,
can
yeah.
tap into a generous range of state and federal government grants and incentives, such as no stamp duty for first-time buyers in New South Wales on properties up to $800,000 and land valued up to $400K. The federal government is also kicking in $25,000 towards new builds.
This is the best grant period I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely outstanding.
Brendan James is the co-founder of Buyers Club, a national buyers agent, helping everyday Aussies get a foot in the property market.
Overall, I think with the grant system and the rates the way they are, I would tend to, on balance, say, sure, take the plunge. Like, what else are we waiting for? I don't think it's going to get much sweeter in terms of rates, grants, and the way that the market is.
In the year of COVID, the resilience of our property market was something to behold. We were blown away by some monster buys.
23 million and 70 if you're wanting.
One man said to me he thought he was in the Crazy Rich Asian movie. He said, I've never seen anything like it.
This Sydney mansion selling for $24.6 million, $10.6 million above reserve, an Australian auction record.
But I don't believe the buyers thought they were going to pay that. They just thought they want the property, and the market just kept on going up, up, up. It was incredible. It's like being in the casino.
Byron Bay blew up.
It's the strongest market we've ever had.
You're kidding?
No.
And how long have you been in the game?
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Even Melbourne real estate agents battled back from the brink.
We've had Zoom auctions. You've done your first ever auction in your underpants.
There were some misses though.
When I changed the outside colour from yellow cream colour, my daughter sobbed. She goes, "What have you done?"
Along with your neighbours. This majestic magenta abode and everything in it had no takers. Everywhere I look, there's something new.
But it's relaxing to be in. It's not overpowering though, is it? It's relaxing. In a sense, isn't it? Is it? Or is it stimulating?
No, it's not overpowering. If 2020 was the year of unpredictable seas, then are we heading towards calmer waters this year?
Congratulations, 24,600,000.
I think smoother sailing because it can't get much worse, right? I think the worst is behind us.
We've knocked that R word on its head, if only in theory.
Technically, the recession is over, but the recovery is not.
But those dire predictions of property prices tumbling off a cliff never happened. In fact, property data research company CoreLogic says national house prices will be back to pre-COVID levels by next month.
Many predictions, particularly from economists, thought up to 30 or 40% price falls, and it's actually proven to be really resilient across the whole country.
Lloyd Edge is one property strategist who didn't side with the doomsayers. Although Lloyd says we will see a trend towards detached housing with room for home offices. Typical one-bedders with small floor plans are now looking much more restrictive.
I think a bit of a construction boom is going to happen, and people are going to start planning their properties more, whether it's a home or an investment, and make sure they've got that extra studio or that extra office space.
Brendan James from Buyers Club predicts 2021 will see the emergence of a new kid on the block, the rent vestor. People who purchase properties to rent out while they pay rent to someone else.
And it means they often can live in a place that's much nicer than what they'd be able to afford on their income to actually buy the place outright.
Yeah, what do you think of this one here?
Which brings us back to house hunters Brody and Nat.
Do you like that?
They're open
It's
to
good
buying a
location
rental
everything,
and
maybe.
renting in a suburb where they can't afford to buy.
I guess that will, allow for opportunities later on down the track where we would potentially sell and buy in Sydney, or, have a bit of equity there to buy something in Sydney that we would not have been able to just by saving.
So, the million-dollar question. Where are the best buys in 2021? Follow the infrastructure breadcrumb trail to new airports northwest of Brisbane and Sydney, according to Bars Club co-founder Brendan James.
So I think that type of area, you'd be a very strong bet for the coming couple of years. Yeah.
Melbourne's Great Western Corridor as far as Melton is a goer, or satellite city Geelong is tipped to continue its upward trend. The jury's still out on mining centre Perth, while Tassie and Adelaide will provide stronger rental returns than capital growth.
They're more as a rental yield play for positive cash flow, which also makes good sense because the property's paying itself off.
Meanwhile, Lloyd Edge is eyeing up regional centres on the New South Wales north coast.
I really like the north coast of New South Wales at the moment, so we're looking around Ballina, Lennox Head, Byron Bay, Port Macquarie. Any of those are great tips, and you'll find that Port Macquarie at the moment is the #1 researched property market in the country. So there's some stuff happening there, but I'd say get in quick because once everybody knows about that tip, it'll be too late.
So plenty to consider. A no let up on those nocturnal property searches for Aussie couples around the country.
Whether it's like renting or just looking at properties to buy, we've spent a lot of time making lists and sort of discussing different points and notes. Yeah, it's fun, it's exciting.
It seems Aussies are still keen, though, to get into the property market, with the Bureau of Statistics reporting a big spike in first home buyers in October and November. Keep in mind, though, the $15,000 home builder grant ends on March 31, so the rush could be on. The year of uncertainty extended to the economy, jobs and personal finances. And 2021 will see more big changes. Earlier, I spoke with CanStar finance expert Effie Zahos about those changes and what they'll mean for you. Effie, we can all agree that Australia navigated 2020 better than most other nations around the world. But in your view, are we out of the woods yet, or are there still tough times ahead?
Yeah, look, Sylvia, we may be out of a recession, but we're certainly not out of the woods. I'd love to say we are, but we're definitely not. And that's not taking away some of the great numbers we had at the end of last year. I mean, we saw that the economy grew 3.3% in the September quarter, which was great. Unemployment numbers weren't as bad as we thought they were going to be. Still bad, but not at that 10%. So we saw some good, solid numbers, but definitely not out of the woods. If there's one thing that we have learned is just how well actually the government, both on a federal, state and territory, and also the Reserve Bank and the banks, how well the three of them all worked together, and the amount that it took. I mean, we basically used all our bullets, didn't we? We lowered interest rates down to a rock bottom area. We really printed out this money and we gave so much stimulus. So we gave it all.
We've pulled all the levers, though. That's part of the problem now.
That's spot on.
Including interest rates, which you mentioned. They're at all-time lows at the moment. Where do you expect them to move, or will they move at all in the next year?
Yeah, and that's right. That's an important point to make. We have kind of pulled everything, and that's a bit of a concern if things don't go the way we want to. But look, focusing on interest rates, what we do know, what is certain, is the RBA has said, look, the cash rate's going to stay where it is. It's going to be low for 3 years, which is great for homeowners, and they're the big winners out of this. But that's not to say that home loan rates will stay where they are. So on CanStar's database, the lowest home loan rate I found was 1.77.
That's low.
That's low. I mean, it's never happened. I remember, interest rates in the 80s at double digits. So now at 1.77, you need to have a good deposit. And this is the thing. The market's going to become a little bit convoluted, I believe, this year. The bigger the deposit, the better rate you have, the type of borrower you are, and so on. But if you're looking at home loans, the worst thing you can do is just sit on the rate you've got. Because even though the RBA may not be moving rates, you can bet competition is going to drive home loan rates. And I suspect we may even see home loan rates go down as low as 1.5%. 5%. Unfortunately, it's going to be new customers that get the best deals. And by refinancing on, say, a $400,000 mortgage, Sylvia, it's about $200 in your pocket you could possibly get from what the average rate is to the cheapest. So it's worth keeping your eye on.
The low rates, of course, are bad news for those who like to keep their money in the bank. So where can savers find a better return on their money?
And this is the pain we've all had. But surprisingly, we saved about $100 billion during this period. So we've been squirreling away our savings, and that's going into bank accounts. So the thing is, right now, it is hard to get a good rate. People want their money secured, so they want to put it with the bank. But you'd be lucky to get even 1%. There are some top rates out there at the moment. So 1.75 is with Rabobank, but it's 4 months only, Sylvia. So then you've got to really play the game here. You just can't leave your money and forget about it.
Let's talk about superannuation, because more than 3 million Aussies took the opportunity to dip early into their superannuation in the last year. What's your advice to them, especially with changes heading our way this year?
Well, look, if I had to say a positive note, I mean, that's just amazing. 35.8 billion is what we ripped out of our super funds. It really engaged us with our super fund. I think for the first time, a lot of people thought, hey, this is my money. It's sitting there. But the problem is, yes, you're right. If we're taking this out of our super, it's going to be less for retirement. So the focus for a lot of people will be to have a look at their super funds. Make sure you're not in a dud fund. Make sure you're getting the return you should be. Have you got the right amount of insurance? Take an interest in it and try and top up.
The first big changes to take effect this year are the changes to the government subsidies, JobKeeper, JobSeeker. What impact are those changes going to have over the next year, do you think?
Yeah, this is what they'll be looking at very closely. So we know JobSeeker already has gone down from $250 to $150. And this is the supplement, what we're looking at. So you've still got the JobSeeker payment, but the supplement falls down to $150 and then it ends in March. Then JobKeeper as well on Monday will fall again as well from $1,200 to $1,000 if you're working over 20 hours. Okay, so if we move this stimulus too fast, most economists are saying that could undo a lot of the work on the one hand. On the other hand, they're saying, well, look, we're doing pretty fine and this has been tapering down. This is an income bracket whereby if you keep that stimulus there or increase it on a permanent basis, it's going to go straight back into the economy. It's not going to be saved on holidays. It's going to go on essentials. So I think it's something worth looking at.
And tell us, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Is there still too much uncertainty?
I think the one thing we can expect is the unexpected still. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think it goes back to basics. If I had to give any tip, the tip is this. We realise we are probably living from pay to pay, so start up your own cash cushion. Get that done. Probably about $10,000 in an account to work towards. If you can do it, do it. If you've got debt, this is great. Pay it off this year. Rock bottom interest rates and order them in the sense of your smallest debt first to your biggest and tick them off as you go along. Protect yourself. So focus on clearing those debts and setting yourself up.
Good advice as always. Effie Zahos, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All those important changes and when they happen are on our website. For the travel industry, 2020 was a nightmare. Borders were closed, planes grounded, travel plans scrapped, and almost 100,000 jobs gone. So can it bounce back, and where will we be going in 2021?
There'll be some serious different ways we think about travel in the future.
Never in a million years did I think we'd be caravanners.
And I think it's a nice chance for families to just unwind with each other.
From the reef to our rainforests, the rock to our incredible ranges, we're spoiled for choice in the land down under when it comes to holidaying here. But all that ground to a halt in 2020. Plans cancelled, planes grounded, and vacations put on ice.
If I had to be captured in one place, I think Australia's a great place to be captured.
Quentin Long from Australian Traveller Media says holidaying at home will be the norm for most, if not all, of this year.
It'll be a bit more of the same in 2021 in terms of, we'll have restrictions in place, there'll be variations in those restrictions, things will happen.
So what will be the travel trends for 2021 and where will we be holidaying?
One of the big ones in 2021, I think, is going to be regenerative travel. So we're moving beyond the idea of leaving only footsteps, but actually leaving the environment or the community in a better place than when we found it.
Keeping it simple and getting back to nature is expected to be very popular, and the Whittacork Dairy Farm could be the perfect place to do just that.
We were shut down for about 90 days. We then reopened around the 12th of June, and ever since, up until today, we've been completely booked out.
Even on a gloomy day, the views from the farm at Mullaney on Queensland's Sunshine Coast are breathtaking. It's a working dairy farm that has 4 cottages, which each can sleep between 5 and 8 guests.
We've got to milk the cows twice a day, so we encourage our guests to come in and help us feed the animals and come in and have a look at the cows getting milked and learn where their milk comes from.
It borders Lake Baroon, rainforest tracks and the national park. Guests can also help feed the animals on the property.
Here comes Danger!
Take a ride on a horse
Sicky's so wet!
and see how milk is made.
The cottages and the dairy really go hand in hand. It's one of those things, we go through a dry patch, sometimes the cottages pull us out of it and vice versa.
And business is booming, with guests coming from far and wide to experience something they never have before.
For next year, all of our weekends and school holidays are also already booked up.
Experts say the Great Aussie Road Trip will also boom this year. With some reluctant to get on a plane, getting in your own car is the ideal alternative.
Something we thought we'd never ever do in our lives, and we bought a caravan.
The Westerns are mad about cruising. At the start of 2020, Mark and Leanne had grand plans to spend most of the year aboard cruise ships.
We had 21 booked for the year and we got to do 3.
Now they've had to find another way to travel.
Unfortunately, we can't go cruising now, so we've decided to go caravanning, and it's another new venture we're really looking forward to.
They've bought a caravan and are ready to hit the road.
Because I've never even towed a caravan, let alone been on a caravan trip.
But they're confident cruising will come back this year. They've got one booked in June.
I think June will go because they've already changed the itinerary. It was a South Pacific cruise and they've changed it to an East Coast cruise, so it's just going from Sydney, Moreton Bay, then up to Early Beach and Cairns.
Cruise will come back. It's just a matter of when the government feels it's appropriate to allow cruising back into the market. And I think that they're now starting to listen to the cruise industry and all the things that they've done to make it safe.
Currently, cruise ships are banned from entering Australian waters until March. Mark believes it would be safe to have Australian-only cruises.
It doesn't concern me now to get back on a ship.
The global cruise industry is worth $5 billion, and while the ships have been idle, some companies have been spending big money upgrading. Carnival Cruise Lines is due to launch the Mardi Gras this year, the largest of its fleet, complete with, would you believe it, a roller coaster on board. As for overseas travel, well, with our recent outbreaks, that could still be a while off. But when we can, it'll be our neighbours we can visit first.
The New Zealand bubble is probably a little bit delayed now, unfortunately, but definitely New Zealand would probably be the first destination that we'll get to go and see.
But if you've got the cash, Quentin says invest in those dream Aussie trips this year, because there's no better time to explore our backyard.
I'm thinking, things like the Kimberley Cruises or a trip out to Uluru and stay at Longitude 131, those luxury lodges of Australia, the iconic Ghan journey. They're the kind of once-in-a-lifetime journeys that people will start to prioritise in 2021.
It's nice to dream. The caravan industry has no official figures for 2020, but reports there has been such a surge in demand for new caravans, it's struggling to keep up. So it looks like a lot of Aussies will be hitting the road next year. Up next, looking at 2020 through social media and how creative people used lockdown to seek the meaning of life.
Because we were all so separated, that was also another reason why I think memes and online funny videos became this connector. It became something for people to share and to find joy.
Moving house.
With Origin's Move Promise, you can book your move in minutes. Phew, call 13MOVE or search Origin Move. Origin, good energy.
That's amazing! Big money wins.
My goodness.
Tipping Point, coming up next on 9.
The Saucy McRib and legendary El Maco are back at Macca's. Delicious pork dripping in smoky barbecue rib sauce and juicy beef with chunky Mexican salsa. Wherever summer takes you, we'll be here.
Harvey Norman, your BYOD experts. 14-inch HP laptop with Microsoft 365 included, $368. HP all-in-one printer, now $38. Plus 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go! What's this? Authentic street food. Dig in. Uh-oh, party's over, folks.
With added germ kill, Mortein Power Guard's all-in-one spray eliminates insects and 99.9% of the germs they carry.
We have a job to do, all of us, to protect what we love, our team. We know what to do. It's simple. Bat, bowl, Dettol.
I had pain down my legs, in my heels. When I finally came across the arch supports at the Good Feet store, it's turned my life around.
See for yourself with a free personalised arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Boxing Day sale at canningvale.com. Queen quilt cover sets now $69.99. Terrazzo 6-piece towel set now $39.99. Luxury beach towels now $19.99. Boxing Day sale at canningvale.com.
Introducing new MyWW Plus.
It takes what's in your fridge and gives you healthy recipes to make for your family. It's just been so easy to use.
The MyWW Plus app takes the guesswork out of deciding what foods I should be eating.
You can really see the progress that you've made and it just motivates you to go further.
It makes working out the best part of my day.
More holistic, more personalised, more weight loss. New MyWW Plus from Weight Watchers Reimagined. Join now and get 50% off.
Today is day 1 of the Dove trial.
Would you recommend Dove antiperspirant?
I absolutely love it and I would recommend it.
I just love how dry it is.
My underarms feel so much smoother.
I have the confidence that I'm going to smell fresh all day.
It leaves that moisturised feeling.
I still am totally in love with the smell.
In our boldest trial ever, 3 out of 4 women recommended Dove antiperspirant with 1/4 moisturising cream.
I am making the switch to Dove.
48-hour protection, cared for underarms.
Letting life in is like a wide open door. An invitation to embrace the meaning of more. More laughter, more light, more room just to breathe. More connection, more joy, more reasons to believe. More invention, more creation, more just letting go. More kid time, more us time, letting everything slow. When moments are created from right here within, Brighton is your home to truly let life in.
The Nick Scali January sale is on now. Save up to 50% off a huge range of quality furniture. Up to 50% off. The Nick Scali January sale on now.
The stylish Haval H2, a globally engineered, European designed and feature-packed SUV. From just $22,990 drive away. Haval H2 Auto. Go with more.
Welcome back. Believe it or not, life in lockdown in 2020 did have some bright sides, especially for some very bright sparks. They used their free time to spread silliness and joy on social media to make things more meaningful.
Patrick! We've talked about this. This is a sheep yard, not an alpaca yard.
If you weren't laughing, you'd be crying. That's 2020 in a nutshell.
I've been on my own for long enough.
They say laughter is the best medicine, and although it may not have been the cure we needed in 2020, it has helped. Memes and other viral videos showing us the funny side to an otherwise very unfunny year.
Isn't this a glittering sea of hopeful faces?
We want to go outside.
It was like this breath of fresh air to go, oh, okay, I can just have a moment before I go back to all the doom and gloom and the pain and struggle of 2020.
Like so many Jeff Van Der Zandt's work dried up due to COVID, but a hobby making silly videos saw him become an overnight sensation.
Catherine hasn't had a question. I'm happy to return to you, but let's just keep it civil. Andrew? Catherine.
Before all of this started, I'd been lip syncing and making silly videos just in my spare time. So when we kind of lost all of our work, I just was like, well, this is fun. And hilariously, I had just gone to a costume warehouse sale. And so I had this massive box of costumes in my house and wigs and stuff. And I went, I'm just going to spend more time doing that.
Dear God, I was a beautiful thing.
It wasn't just Corona going viral. Jeff's work has been shared millions of times.
The videos that have been the most popular were the ones that were news specific or took something of the moment, like, you know, when Adelaide had the cases and they realised that person lied.
Okay, I believe you.
Curry for the Country was also a hilarious one that people loved.
Curry for the Country, I love it.
Take something that exists and you go, oh great, I can laugh about that. I can have a moment with that.
There was plenty to poke fun at.
Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now.
Toilet paper shortages.
So you just kind of like flew all the way there and then like you're back and you're just here. Well, yeah.
Travel bans.
Dude, tell us everything, please. Oh, jeez. Well, I just rocked up at the airport and got my passport out. And
hand washing.
Hands, washing hands, reaching out. Don't touch me, I won't touch you.
And working from home.
Technology kills viruses in just one. What did you do, Mom? Dad, holy crap.
Because we were all so separated, that was also another reason why I think memes and online funny videos became this connector. It became something for people to share and to find joy in.
We could do this. But I'm going to be the star.
No. It's my TikTok, so obviously I'm going to be the star.
Yeah, I don't really care.
The odd dancing challenge also helped to keep our fitness up.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen.
They've crossed generations, so it's not just memes for millennials. They've been doing circulations through every single age bracket.
Social media strategist Jordana Borestein.
We needed laughter, especially when times are so uncertain and there's darkness. We needed the joy and the connectedness that memes bring.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to call you stupid, but when I asked you to spell orange and you asked me, do you mean the fruit or the colour? It kind of caught me off guard. I'm sorry.
The memes about homeschooling really provided that outlet of emotion for people who were struggling to be able to connect together and laugh together.
I just thought teaching was so easy. I am so confused. Did I get dumber or did this work seem to get insanely hard?
It allowed us to have moments of laughter that we shared together, so it meant that we didn't feel that isolation when we're laughing together.
Oh, look who it is! Patrick! Do you creep often, Patrick?
It's the simple things, isn't it? After the break, who's taking care of your kids? The urgent push for drug and alcohol tests in childcare centres.
We're talking MDMA, cocaine. And in terms of, alcohol, I'm talking about staff members getting pulled over on the side of the road 4 times over the limit.